Mr. Graves. Chair recognizes Mr. Graves, Louisiana.
Mr. Chairman, amendment to desk number 28.
Sorry, you repeat that?
I have amendment at the desk number 28.
Clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment to the amendment in the nature of a substitute to the committee print offered by Mr. Graves of Louisiana, number 028.
Without objection, the amendment will be considered as read, and I recognize Mr. Graves of Louisiana to speak on his amendment for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, this amendment is pretty simple. As we saw in some of the last rounds of grant funding to airports, you had airports that were actually profiting significantly, meaning receiving grants were well in excess of their annual operating expenses. What this amendment would do is it simply says that no airport should receive a cumulative amount of assistance under the coronavirus relief packages that would exceed 3 years of their annual operating budget. I think that is incredibly generous. So it simply puts a cap to prevent airports from actually profiting off of the coronavirus pandemic. So very simple amendment, Mr. Chairman. I hope that we share these objectives. And going back to the previous amendment, I'd be happy to work with you in the future in ensuring that domestic production occurs, and also on the emissions target. Just some of the other policies that have recently been coming out don't appear to care much about emissions, but again, back to this amendment, urge adoption and yield back.
Gentleman yields back time. Are there any other members who wish to be recognized to speak on this amendment? Hearing none, I will recognize myself. I do rise in opposition to this particular amendment